2, 1. All right, hey everyone, welcome to the BEAMathon. This is the Managing Finances in College and Beyond workshop. It's day 1, Saturday, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and we're just going to head straight into this. But before we get started, we're actually going to start off with a quick prize opportunity. So if you actually want to win some Beam stickers, things like these, this, and this, I was showing it off in the opening ceremony and stuff. Feel free to just make sure you follow Beam Community on Instagram, and 2, make sure to post an Instagram story about this workshop before it ends. So what you can do is you can basically just take a photo of yourself and say, hey, I'm at the workshop, the Managing in Finances in College and Beyond, and just tag us, and we'll pick some winners at the end. And honestly, just do it, because last time not many people did this contest, and there's like one person who had like an auto win. So yeah, just feel free to just go for it. Post anytime during this workshop. And Lena, I don't know if did you want to share your screen and get the slides up yourself?
Yeah, Camilla's going to share the slides.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to stop sharing and just leave the floor to you guys. All right, so feel free to share your screen whenever you're ready.
Okay, sure. It says only the host can share in this meeting.
Oh, gotcha. Let me just advance sharing options. Okay, there you go.
Hey everybody, welcome to this workshop. Like Skylar said, we're doing presentation on managing finances in college and beyond. We're so glad to have you guys today. And this event is a partnership between the Beam community and the Global Youth Economics Forum. So before we jump into the workshop, we're just going to introduce the Global Youth Economics Forum briefly. So our mission is that we connect students with professionals in business, banking, finance, economics, consulting, and related fields. By doing so, we jumpstart students' professional lives, and we also host free college admission webinars and college mentorship programs. So if that's something that you're interested in, you could definitely email us. You could also check us out on Instagram. All right, so now we're going to introduce our panelists. So our panelists, Tiffany and Michelle. So Tiffany, you could start and introduce yourself briefly.
Sure. Hey everyone, I'm Tiffany. I'm currently a senior studying cell and molecular biology at Boston University. I plan to go to med school in the fall. So yeah, anything related to that, I'm also happy to take questions about. Yeah, so happy to be here.
Hello everyone, I'm Michelle Wang. I am currently a JG freshman and majoring in Biomedical Engineering, minor in management and entrepreneurship. So if you guys have any questions about Hopkins or admissions processes or anything about any of these topics, I'm happy to help.
Okay, so now we're going to jump into the questions that the audience had before this meeting. So the first question that we had was, how do you manage and avoid debt in college? So I guess we're just do the usual order. Tiffany, then Michelle can answer.
So I think my first tip, while you're in college, is definitely thinking about books and things that are required for a class, like lab stuff if you're in STEM, things of that nature. And definitely don't buy these things as they're listed on the syllabus would be my first little tip, because me as a freshman, I always bought everything that they listed on the syllabus thinking I would need it all. And it turns out within the first or second week of class, I realized that, oh, I'll never read the textbook for this class. And it just turns out that I wasted my money on the textbook. So little costs like that, like textbook for each class, they will add up long-term. So that's my one tip.
I would also like to add on to that. I agree that definitely a lot of the books you don't use, or a lot of the times if you have a group chat with your friends or something, you guys can split the cost of a book. There's free resources always online. You can get the books free most of the time. And I would say that a good idea is to write down your budget for the semester or for the week or whatever, and then plan it out. Make sure you list all your expenses. I keep a little booklet right here. This is where I write all my expenses and just make sure that everything is in order. Oh, and also, Oh yeah, I just wanted to add one more thing. Sometimes like a lot of the school like necessities, like meal plans and stuff, you want to like look it through, talk with your family about it because you would find that you eat a lot less than you think you would.
Well, thank you guys. That was really invaluable advice. So the next question that we had was, how do you boost your credit score?
So for this one, I would have to credit my AP Macro Econ teacher from high school. I was a senior when I first opened my credit card, and he was telling us, oh, if you don't have a credit card like right now, go make one, start applying, because a lot of banks may be, really wary on giving you your first credit card because you don't have a credit score. So definitely kind of shop around and see which bank will allow you to have a credit score, and then, open a credit card without a credit score, and then you will start building your credit score, and you will find that every subsequent credit card you try to apply for will be much easier after that. So yeah, that's my first tip. Open a credit card as early as you can, and then pay in full and on time every single month. So yeah.
Yes, so definitely credit cards are very important to building your credit score, and credit score is very important in America. You want to make sure that you have good credit and you want to start early. Make sure you do credit checks if you haven't already. I know that sometimes like there's this thing that my finance teacher also told me in high school was just to make sure that everything's in check and protect your identity as well, because sometimes, there's some mix-ups, so make sure everything's good with that.
I'm just going to add on to a further point. If you plan on going to grad school, definitely think about the fact that undergraduate financial aid packages tend to be much more generous than grad school packages. So if you can minimize the amount of loans or things of that nature in your undergrad career, it's for the best if you plan to go to grad school, because in grad school, you're likely going to need to take out loans, and take out loans with a good rate, then you need a good credit score. So it all kind of comes back.
Thank you guys. So the third question that we had was, what apps do you use to manage finances or just like budgeting in general?
This one, I would say definitely be spending within your means, whatever that means to you. I think that I personally don't use any apps. I'm not a crazy spender. I think I just come from like a saving mindset type of low income immigrant family, and we've always had that kind of mindset. So that's just what I was brought up in. But if that's not you, there are definitely apps that help you with managing that. But also, I have Bank of America, and there's always like a section that says like spending an income per month, and then see how you compare your deposits per month, like from work or work study, things of that nature, to how much you spend in a month. So definitely keep an eye out on those like pie charts. They're really helpful just to see like trends over time, to see how you can adjust your own spending habits.
Yeah, so I definitely agree as well. For a lot of your banks and stuff, they have like budgeting tools like already built into the app, so you can just use those. I just make sure like I have everything on time. I write things down on a notebook, a little old-fashioned. And also, I think there's this app called Acorn. I know some of my friends use it, and those can help you save like a little every time and invest. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. I see some questions in the chat. Like we'll get to them after the like pre-prepared questions. So the next question that we had was, do you guys have any tips for investing in the stock market?
I'm gonna leave this one to Michelle if she has tips. I'm actually, even though I'm a senior, I haven't really dabbled in that. I just never really had the interest or time to do that yet, I think. And especially going into grad school, I knew that I wanted to save up rather than start investing. So that for me is just like the path that I chose. But yeah, definitely a lot of people start investing in the stock market in college.
Yeah, so I don't have much experience in the stock market either, but what I will say is that a lot of the information you can find is usually online, and you can speak to multiple different sources before you make any like decisions or anything like that. You definitely want to start early because it like exponentially increases over time. So the earlier you start saving, the earlier you start investing, the more money you end up saving in the long run. Other than that, I would just say there are also clubs once you get to university that are specifically for like investing in stocks, or clubs about finance. So you can join those as well to learn more.
Sounds great. Okay, so the next question they had was, how do you create a budgeting plan to try and avoid debt?
So I think the first thing with avoiding debt is to make sure you don't accrue it in the first place. And the number one tip for that is using net price calculators as you apply to college for everyone who is not a current senior and still looking to apply and making your college list. Boston University became one of the top schools on my list during the application process because I saw that on the net price calculator on their website that I was able to likely get a full ride, and I did at BU. So that was a huge factor for me. Like they're covering, tuition and room and board. I have a really nice apartment in my opinion. Just making sure that the school you go to makes sense for you in terms of academics, of course, but that they also have a good financial aid package if that is also what you're looking for.
Yeah, so definitely the most, I guess the largest factor of expenses is definitely tuition. So you want to make sure when you're choosing colleges, deciding between them to balance, compare budgets and all of that. Usually schools that have like more funding or are more well known tend to give better financial aid packages. That's what I've looked at over the years. I would say that you can also show other schools that, hey, like this school gave me this amount. Can you also match this? Is also an option as well.
Yeah, just adding on to Michelle's point really quickly, don't underestimate the amount that private universities will give you, even though they on paper seem to be more expensive in tuition and room and board, I got into say SUNY Binghamton versus BU, right? And my I would have paid 5 times, 10 times more to go to Binghamton than to go to BU, even though on paper it would seem that BU would be a lot more expensive.
Thank you. So it seems as if to look at the net price calculator and compare budgetings and prices, and also that private schools do give more financial aid packages. So the next question we had was, how do you stick to your budgeting plan?
I think for me, since switching from a dorm style where I needed a dining plan to moving into an apartment and getting my own food every month and things of that nature, definitely having a side job that you work maybe 8 to 10 hours a week that you can manage on top of school. School comes first, guys. Don't forget that. But having just a little bit of spending money always helps. If there's something you've been eyeing for a long time and you can afford it, then I would say go for it. Grocery money, that adds up pretty quick in my opinion, and I'm really glad for the 10 hours I work every week that covers that. So definitely find a side job if you can handle it alongside your extracurriculars and your academics.
Yeah, so there are many ways to earn money in my opinion. I run a little online business thing, a little shop. So that's how I work instead of the normal 9 to 5 job sort of thing or any part-time. But there's also federal work study, which is for students who want to basically have a job that's pretty much guaranteed, and all you have to do is apply to them with the federal work study.
Yeah, really cool. The next question they had was, what are the best things to spend your money on? Before you said don't spend money on textbooks and stuff, but what are the best things to spend your money on?
This one's really hard, I think, and it really depends on what you value. I think experiences, I think everyone says this, but material things tend to be just whatever. But if you're in college and you only have 4 years and your friends are only here for 4 years, and it's me just mostly reminiscing about being a senior, but the times you remember most of the times you spent money on some experience that you went with your friends and the pictures you took there. And sometimes the most valuable things are things that lead to those experiences, but also things that just spark joy for you. If it happens to be, a certain sweater that you will wear all the time, and that's just what you want to spend your money on, I would totally go for it. If, the $4 coffee brings you joy, and it's worth it to you, then I would say it's worth spending your money on. But personally, coffee, the example of coffee, I prefer making it myself. That's just what sparks joy for me, right? So that's just what I choose to save on and spend on other things.
So I always have this idea that I should spend money on quality rather than quantity. And the thing is that a lot of items that you buy that you use every day, a lot of these products are lower quality if they're cheaper. So in long-term aspects, you actually spend more on the same items. For example, your computer can last you 4 years if it's like a good computer, but then if you get a cheaper one, it might break down in like 1 or 2 years. So make sure that things that you use the most, use daily, that's more important to you. Just like, I would say invest like initially and it'll save over the long run.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. The next question we had was, what are the best student loans to apply for?
I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not an expert. I've never taken out loans yet. So, but I know for a fact that the federal ones are much lower in interest rate and things. So definitely look towards like the federal ones. They're usually already in your financial aid package when you guys do get those. So they're going to be listed in your financial aid package, and definitely like exhaust all like the federal ones before you start looking for like smaller banks and private companies and things of that nature.
Definitely. The public corporations and private corporations definitely would, I mean, price gouge more. I haven't taken out student loans either, but I would say explore all your options before you go for loans. That should be your last resort. Definitely like scholarships, any type of budgeting, maybe ask for more, like appeal your financial aid package. If you don't think it's good enough, like try everything before you go for student loans.
Sounds good. The next question that we had was, what are the best ways to try and avoid taking out loans?
I'm going to give a similar answer. A lot of schools give really good financial aid. Like, don't discount like private universities, things that seem expensive at first. Try all their calculators, see what works for you and your family before, attending a school and agreeing to commit to a school that requires you to take out a lot of loans. Some financial aid packages can be a little tricky to read. Like they'll put loans in your financial aid package, even though that's not really money they're giving you and that you'll eventually have to pay back. So definitely look for grants and scholarships. That's the best way to go.
I would like to say that sometimes early decision is binding. So you want to make sure when you're applying ED or anything like that, that you're taking into account like all the financial stuff and parts of that as well. In terms of avoiding loans, there's a lot of like, because of the current situation with the pandemic and everything, a lot of people's financial situations have changed a lot. So they usually look at your W-2s from like 2 years ago, or like exactly, so 2 years ago. But if it has changed, you might want to tell the school like, hey, here's my updated like finances and like income, and maybe it has changed for the better or the worse. You want to like let the school know if it has changed for the worst, and they will do everything in their power to lower your tuition.
Sounds good. So it seems like the net price calculator on like college's website are really useful. And I believe this is the last question. Then we're opening it up to audience Q&A. Was, how do you approach discussing finances with parents, especially those who aren't so open about it?
Maybe someone can clarify this question, but I'm thinking it's you don't usually talk to your parents about finances, or that you maybe come from a lower income family and it's not comfortable for them to be discussing how much they make. But I think this is a really important time in your life when you're about to make a really big decision. And if they haven't been open about it in the past, I would encourage you to, make a really open conversation with your parents about these things, because if possible, obviously you want them to support you through college so that you don't have to work more than you have to, or that take out more loans than you have to. So yeah, this is definitely a good time to start if you haven't already.
Right, so you want to start as early as possible with this discussion, even though it might be tricky or stressful or anything. Starting as early as possible, making sure you have your boundaries and your rules set straight ahead of time is the best way to go. Also, write things down, because people tend to forget things. So you want to make sure that you have a clear, detailed list of whatever conversations you had between your parents. Make sure they agree with the terms as well. Just want to make sure things are written.
Sounds good. So it seems as if like you need to like start like discussing finances first, because like college is a really like big part of your life and it's kind of like a milestone for you. Okay, so yeah, so now we're opening it up to audience Q&A. So I'm going to give like 5 seconds for anyone who wants to like unmute right now to ask any questions they have. But if not, like we're going to go to the chat. So I'll like wait for like 5 minutes to see if there's anyone who wants to ask their question out loud.
Hi, Michelle, you said you're majoring in biomedical engineering, right? I just wanted to know, what got you into biomedical engineering? Because I'm considering that over possibly biology. I just wanted to know what that entailed.
Right. So I wanted to do biomedical engineering because, first of all, it gives me more opportunities to discover different fields. A lot of time, biology or molecular biology can be more centered towards research, academics. Like you're focusing on one type of research. Maybe you want to do something along the lines of that, but I want to work in industry, and that's why I'm minoring in entrepreneurship and in management as well. So I feel like you can do a lot with BME, and it's very versatile, especially if you're confused about anything you want to do. So that's why I chose BME, but it is very technical as well, and it's very in-depth, and there is a lot of work. So you want to make sure you're ready for that.
I can add on to this one, actually. Even though I'm a molecular bio major, I know a good chunk about BME because I have a lot of BME friends. And as a senior, I've seen how that can shape or not shape your academic career exactly. For example, I actually work in a BME lab, and I have been working at a BME lab since my sophomore year of college. And I took CS classes because I wanted to, because they interested me and I had the space for it. So definitely don't think that one major also totally confines you, because over 4 years, you can find yourself in a lot of different opportunities and a lot of spaces that you might not realize you can be in. I'm the only non-engineer in my lab, but I love the work I do. I love being able to use coding and deciphering. I study speech disorders and Parkinson's, and, there are a lot of projects that are in our lab that have to do with augmented communication. I'm not exactly in those projects, but they are happening, and I could definitely get my feet wet in those if I was interested. So definitely keep your mind open. That's my biggest tip for any college freshman, is that you're not confined to whatever it seems like you might be in. My experience in CS and in sociology classes, those are because I found that interest because I kept my mind open. So definitely keep that in mind also.
Awesome, thank you so much.
I'm not sure if any of you guys other than Michelle are also entrepreneurs, but I left my question in the chat, but I'm just going to ask it out loud. How did you guys start your businesses? How did you advertise? Do you have any tips on becoming successful? Can you dig into how you do your taxes? Because that is stressful. Okay. Things like that.
Right. So my business is very in a niche market. It's not exactly academic based, entrepreneurship based. It's just very artistic, I guess, and also merchandise, right? So I'm sure you guys know BTS. Show of hands, anyone? Big BTS fans, ARMY, yeah, exactly. So I do a lot with creating merch, finding rare merch from Korea or anything. Like I do a lot of stuff with that. So I'm very, very well versed in the BTS world, and I am an ARMY. I create a lot of slogans as well, stickers, photo cards, all of that. And I have a Twitter account that I do giveaways on, and I also sell my stuff, and I just sell a lot of things, I guess. There's not much to it. I guess if you guys want my Twitter later, I guess I can give it to you. But with taxes and things, I usually let my dad take care of a lot of those things. But until I think you're around the age of 22 or 21, you're still under your parents' income, W-2 taxes forms. So you want to make sure that you discuss anything with your parents before you go into business or anything like that. It can affect a lot of your income levels. And just make sure you have a separate bank account, open a business account if you can, and make sure that all of your expenses and revenues are very clearly written out. Have a spreadsheet. Just make sure everything's very clear before you, I guess, report it to the IRS. Oh, and also Namjoon is my bias, but I'm OT7.
I was going to add on also, the point that Michelle made about being independent is quite important. You're likely listed under your parents still if you don't make a significant amount of money. And most of my friends that I know we don't make a lot of money based on the fact that we work part-time. And if you don't have to file as an independent, you probably don't have to handle any of this on your own. So definitely talk to your parents about that too. Yeah, like Michelle said, it affects a lot. Like with health insurance, for example, that's a huge one that your income will affect. So yeah, definitely have a conversation about that.
Yeah, if anyone has any other questions, feel free to like unmute and say it right now. If not, like we'll go to the chat. Okay, yeah, I'll go to the chat. Let me scroll up since the chat was flooded with chat. Okay, so one question in the chat was, how do you organize your transactions for taxes in college?
I'm gonna go on the same point as before that you probably don't have to manage any of this on your own unless you make a significant amount of money. Probably your parents will help you with that or take care of it completely. Yeah, I've always filed as a dependent, so I've never had to deal with taxes. Yeah.
Right. I don't have much to add on to that. Just a lot of open communication is very important with your parents.
Thank you. Okay, so next question was, does it matter how many credit cards you have, or is one enough?
I think in the beginning, if you can find a bank that will even open a credit card for you, given the fact that you have no credit score or credit history, one is more than enough in the beginning, in my opinion. But if you're really looking to build your credit score, I think about a third of your credit score comes from having more than one credit card and the length of time that you've had a credit card. So definitely the length of time when you can change right now, right? Like if you open one right now, then you'll have an account for a long time. And revolving credit through your different credit cards is also important. But I would say that's like a later concern. Just mostly start opening one now, pay on time and pay in full. So yeah.
Yes, so currently one is enough. I only have one. If you want to open more for some other reason, then obviously you can do that. It does help your credit score, but yeah, just pay on time.
Yeah, sounds good. So like just pay your credit on time. Okay, so next question was, do you guys recommend any credit card or money saving apps geared towards teens?
I think we both mentioned before, a lot of banks actually have their own like spending and budgeting system in their website. So I think those are really easy to see and you can see all the transactions you've made. So you don't have to like input something every time into an app. So I find those really helpful as is. So yeah, I definitely recommend utilizing whatever system your bank has on their website.
To add on to that, a little life hack, a lot of companies, they usually don't take high school students' emails, but for a lot of colleges, there are student discounts, which are pretty nice, usually 50% off for a lot of subscription-based things. There's this app called Unidays, so UNIDAYS, that does give discounts for students as well, and there are a lot of things involving discounts.
Yeah, Unidays I've used for like 4 years. It actually does take my high school email, so you guys can try out yours if you have an EDU email. There's also Student Beans. Their discounts used to be a little less than Unidays, I would say, but it's still some savings on top of like the sales that a website might already have.
Sounds great. Okay, next question that we had in chat was, how to find discounts and offers so that we can save. Do you recommend any website or apps which we can use while we are in college?
Yeah, Unidays, Student Beans are my top two. Unidays mostly.
There's also Honey. I don't know. It's just a web browser.
I think that one is like not only for college students, but like anyone can use it. It's just like a Chrome extension. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're really trying to save money, I would say spend on big holidays, even though consumerism and maximizing that isn't something that I personally buy into. But That's definitely when you'll be saving the most money, I think, if you're willing to wait a certain amount of time and have, delayed gratification on that item that you really wanted, but saving a lot of money while you do it.
Yeah, things are cheaper when they're off season as well. So it's, for example, if you were to buy like a winter jacket in summer, I'm sure you'd get a discount.
Yeah, great tips. Okay, next question that we had was, do you apply to outside scholarships? If so, how do they help you save money? What is the process like? Since it might seem like a bit scary for high schoolers right now, like we want to kind of like know your experiences as a college student, how it feels like.
I think if I remember correctly, most of them don't open until you're like a senior or that you've had like an offer somewhere. So, but you can always keep like a running list, like an Excel sheet or something. Some of them are geared towards, ethnicity. Some like Asian American Association might have like 5K on a scholarship, or I know a lot of friends who did this summer program who you trained for a summer to run a 5K, and then that was like a 2 or 3K scholarship, which is not nothing, right? So there are definitely like small opportunities here and there that can add up. But the best ones are always the ones offered by your school that cover as much as they can for you in terms of how your FAFSA and stuff compares to what they think is a good package for you.
Yes, so for a lot of scholarships, you would have, I know there's a statistic, it's like you only get 1 out of the 10 scholarships you apply to, which seems like a lot, but if you just put in the work and do a lot of them at once, then you would get a lot more than you expect. For local scholarships, definitely are more effective in like winning the scholarship than just national scholarships, just because the population pool is a lot smaller. So if you live in a more rural area, especially, it's very helpful to look for local scholarships. Usually, I don't know what system you guys use in your high schools, but we had this website called Naviance, and under it had scholarships with like all the local things, and that was very helpful for me. And a disclaimer I would like to add on scholarships is that sometimes they do cut into your financial aid. And what I mean by that is, so for example, if Hawkins gave me X amount of money for my financial aid, and I got a $5,000 scholarship, they might reduce my financial aid, so I might end up paying the same amount. And that's always like something that like seems really unfair, but unfortunately that's how things work, at least in my school, and I'm sure a lot of other schools. There's usually a cap around that, so maybe like for your first $1,000 of scholarships, they won't reduce your financial aid, but anything above that, they might reduce it. So you want to make sure that when you are applying to scholarships as well, look at the school policy for those.
Yeah, Michelle makes a really good point there. There's also this thing where some scholarships will pay you, like the check will be made out to you versus check being made out to your school. And usually if the check is made out to your school will see it, and then they will reduce your financial aid accordingly to make sure that you pay the same net price, so that you want the kind, or if you can, you want to win the kind that goes directly into your own like checkings account so you can spend it however you'd like to.
Yeah, sounds great. So like mainly to look for like more local scholarships, since there's like a smaller applicant pool. Okay, so the next question that we had in the chat was, how do you find a balance between saving and maintaining a social life?
That's a good question. I think there are a lot of things you can do for free or for a very, really small cost. Like sometimes, you can just get a really inexpensive meal, but the part of it that you remember is always, the conversation, the time you had like going there. I don't think that anything has to be super extravagant to be worth your time. And yeah, a lot of activities you can do for absolutely for free. Like one of my favorite things to do is just to walk along the Esplanade, like by the Charles River. That is absolutely 100% for free. And, long walks, great conversations are some of my favorite things. So you don't necessarily have to do something that costs a lot of money. Also, a lot of clubs host events, and usually they will cover food and things of that. So you can meet a lot of people that way also and not have to pay anything.
Yeah, a lot of good experiences actually come from like free things as well. Just like walking around campus is definitely a way to go. Like going to like local little shops, little bookstores, those are nice. If your friends did want to go somewhere and whatever, like you can just say, oh, like I'm not getting anything, or hey, like, can you cover me this time? I'll cover you next time. Like, there's a lot of ways to reduce your spending just by being like more like, hey, like, I think I'm gonna eat here. I'm not really that hungry, or like, but I'll join you. Like, a lot of experiences you can just tag along as well. You don't have to like indulge in that like $10 sushi if you really didn't want it.
Sounds great. Okay. The next question that we had in chat was, do you guys have fee waivers, or do you guys pay the fees when you guys apply to colleges? Like, waivers are indeed expensive, especially if you like apply to a lot of colleges. And that's like a hurdle for a lot of families too.
Right. So I think this one's a really easy one for me. I applied to, I think, like 20-ish schools. I didn't pay for a single college app. I joined Questbridge as a junior, and then I got the finalist thing in my senior year. So they covered every Questbridge school that I applied to. So that's one. Two, I think there are a lot of like ones based on the state you live in. So New York State had a lot of fee waivers for certain schools as well. And then three would be asking your guidance counselor to send those extra score reports, because usually you can't send them to schools yourself because they're afraid you like botched it on Photoshop to get like a higher ACT score, for example. So my guidance counselor was super nice in high school, and I went to her like, oh, I really am having trouble affording spending, 16 times 20s on sending my SAT score. Do you mind just emailing the schools on my behalf and telling them that this is my score? And she was totally open to doing it, so I didn't have to pay for those either. So definitely reach out to people who can help you in your school if the state fee waivers, or if you don't get Questbridge, etc.
Yeah, my school, they were very good with like any fee waivers. So if you just talk to them like, hey, I don't think I can afford this, they usually would help you out. There's a lot of opportunities. I think the Common App as well, like the first, I want to say 15, I might be wrong, it's been a while, but like the first however many applications are also free. And you can always just talk to any like organization or anything, they should be able to help you.
Yeah, Questbridge is really a good a good organization to get into if you want to get like a full ride scholarship. And following up on that, like, can you give more insight on that? Like, I know like some participants would like to know more about what Questbridge entails.
Tips.
So I think in my junior year, if Victor, you want to ask your question first, go ahead.
It was the same question. I just
feel okay, great. I actually really loved my time in Questbridge. I met a lot of cool people. I actually went to BU through Questbridge also. But my junior year, I knew that I wanted a chance to be able to get that full ride match if I wanted to my senior year, and the best way to maximize that was junior year. And actually, you guys, if you do qualify for Questbridge, I totally recommend applying your junior year, because it's like a test run on your essays, etc., for your senior year, so that you know that you had a rough draft, see how that went. Like if you didn't get accepted in the Questbridge, it probably means that your essay wasn't up to par. Asking those teachers in your junior year or sophomore year, those really come in handy. Like just having those letters on hand makes you extra prepared going into college admissions. They also had like workshops and scholarships, like for juniors. Actually, they weren't a lot of money, but still a good amount to have, and they came with experiences and things. I went to a conference at Yale when I was in Questbridge as a junior, and then I ended up being a finalist my senior year when I reapplied. So definitely apply to Questbridge if you can.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, so the next question that we had in chat was, if you're willing to say this, and if you are a low-income family, how much was your college package?
I don't think I want to disclose exactly how much my school gave me, but I would say that it was super, super generous. It's what you would call a full ride for most schools. I basically only paid for health insurance because I'm out of state, but they covered tuition and room and board. It's called the Cohen Scholarship if anyone is interested in BU. They look at academic achievements and also financial aid. So you can be on the same scholarship as a friend, but if their need is more or less than yours, then they'll get more or less than you. But it's still exactly what your EFC on your SAR report through FAFSA told them that you would need. So that's kind of how they adjust for that. Yeah.
So I don't also feel comfortable with discussing exact numbers or anything like that, but what I will say is my school is very generous with the financial aid, and they were very willing to accept any appeals or anything, changing circumstances. I know, because it was my first year and there was the pandemic, I talked to my financial aid advisor, and she did end up altering my, I guess, like, scholarship and financial aid package, and it reduced it by a lot.
Great. Yeah, so we'll wrap it up in a few minutes. We're just answer some last questions in the chat. Following up on the fee waivers, can you get scholarships and fee waivers even if your family isn't low income? That's a really good question.
I believe Questbridge is definitely just for low-income families. Some of the New York State ones are also just for low-income families, if I'm remembering correctly, but also they expanded the Excelsior Scholarship from my knowledge. So definitely check me on this, but it's 125K family income now instead of it was much lower when I applied because that was the first year they ran the SUNY and CUNY tuition scholarships. But definitely do really thorough research. Here's where you can save a lot of money. And if you can save, I would definitely recommend it. If the fees for college apps add up so quickly, and that if there are government things or private things that you can apply to, I would recommend trying those out.
Yeah, I am also in the lower income bracket, so I'm not really sure about higher income things associated with fees. But what I will say is, if you do email some of the universities you're applying to and say hey, can I send it to you with an alternate method, they might accept that, and that might reduce your fees.
Yeah, sounds good. The Excelsior Scholarship is really good, and you guys should definitely look into it. So the last question that we're going to answer for today is, are there any hidden costs that people should prepare for in college I might not know about beforehand?
I would say it's not really a hidden cost, but some classes may take more than just the textbook costs. For example, some classes might take a homework subscription service like Pearson or McGraw-Hill or something like that. Lab costs like lab manuals, lab coats, lab goggles, etc. Clickers such as Top Hat, physical clickers. A lot of them require a subscription too, but they're not usually super expensive, and you should definitely start budgeting for extra little bits like that while you're maybe the summer before college.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of experience with subscription-based services as well. In a lot of classes, especially now that we're online, a lot of the homework is online as well, and you have to pay for that service. There are a lot of clickers as well. Also say that usually around college campuses, the prices for food and other basic necessities are a little high and inflated just because it's around a campus. You might want to bring some extra stock beforehand and not try and purchase from a local corner shop if possible.
Yeah, that's a really, really great tip. And it might seem a bit simple, but it is a huge deal. Yeah, so we'll wrap it up for today, and I'll pass it over to Skylar. Thank you all so much for, especially the panelists, thank you all so much for answering all of our questions, and thank you for the participants who were who asked a lot of questions. Thank you all for participating. It was great.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for presenting that workshop. And before we actually wrap up, we're gonna do something really quick. We're gonna take some pictures, and then we're gonna announce our social media competition winners and give them some prizes. So if you guys want to turn on your cameras, and we're just gonna have a really fun time just taking some pictures, doing some waving things. Turn on those cameras. I want to see those faces. Let's go. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that. We got one brave soldier. Oh, a couple of y'all brave soldiers. Okay, let's go. Yes, I see y'all hype. Okay. All right. We got more people. Almost a full screen. Let's see it. Okay, yeah, I know the speakers are dropping their contact info, so if you guys want to contact them there as well, You can feel free to stay in touch as well. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty much a full screen right there. Okay, we got a lot of more people turning on their cameras. So as you know, we do these basic poses. I really don't know what else to do besides a heart and the peace sign. So you know what's up. I don't know. I'm not about to do a thumbs up. Sorry, I'm not. I cannot do that. Okay, so let's just do a quick maybe like heart as a pose. I know some people are doing that. Oh, you want to do that BTS art? Sure. Sure, why not? Go for it, okay? Oh, quirky and original, guys. Look at this. Is this a BTS heart? I keep on getting it wrong. I don't know. I have K-pop friends.
It's for like K-pop heart in general.
Okay, it's not a BTS heart. Okay, it's K-pop. Gotcha. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Why is it? Okay, there you go. I was like, it's not working. Any other poses? Y'all know? Are y'all quirky? I'm very basic. I don't know what else to do. Wait, can you do like? No, that looks so weird. Wait, what's a good thing? What's a good thing to do? This is so hard. That looks so bad. What's something like not cringy? I mean, I feel like every pose is gonna be cringy anyway. Hold up. Wait, well, do you guys have any ideas of what poses to do? I'm genuinely lost. Okay, I guess we're just gonna stick to our normal peace sign. All right, we need more cameras, guys. Turn on
Maybe
those
jazz hands?
Let's go. Jazz hands? I don't know. Oh my god. Let's just stick to the oh, this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It means I love you in sign language.
Oh, okay. Because I just don't know what it means. Okay, so everyone do this. Sure, why not? Okay, turn on those cameras, guys. We need more cameras. Yes. Put on those poses. Two more. Let's go. Come on. I know y'all hype for this. Oh my god, perfect. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hey. Okay, now I'm just gonna do the thing where I just take a video and then do the waving stuff. So I'm gonna just pull up my Spotify and play on music. Okay. I don't think I did classic, right? I don't classic like the Baby You're So classic. Okay, I can't sing. I can't. I'm gonna make everyone tone deaf. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, just tell me. No, what am I saying? Okay, when I tell you guys to wave, just wave. So, 1 second. Second. Hold on. Ready? Waiting for the beat to drop. Waiting. Wave. Hey, let's go. Managing finances, getting that bag. Let's go. Hey, copyrighted music, it's okay. See y'all, thank you for coming. Okay. All right, so now that we've got that out of the way, we're gonna post it on social media at the end of all the workshops. But yeah, we're going to just announce our social media competition winners. So at the beginning, we just told everyone to post on your story and tag Beam. So I'm just gonna share my screen quickly and then we'll just end this off. But can we get a drum roll, please? Someone unmute. Yes. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and congratulations to these winners. What I'm gonna be doing, what is that thing on my Canva? Okay, that's so weird. Yeah, congratulations to everyone. Let me just quickly share my entire screen and just do a little outro thing. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming, and I'll see you at the next workshops. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Do you need us to stay on for anything else, or?
Yeah,
you can stay on if you want. We're going to start another workshop. Oh wait, let me just